Okay, good morning. I think Prof. Chi has gone through with you a lot of videos and very interesting videos. What I'm going to do is something more basic, something more fundamentals, alright, without too many videos. Now, the vitreous as we know it, 90 to 99% is water, alright, but it's not simple water. It has a network of fine collagen bundles suspended in coils of mucopolysaccharides, hyaluronic acid. So if you look at it, it is actually like springs, but not so much like spring, more like mattress. If you pull on any of the spring, if any of the spring become loose, if you pull on it, the spring won't come individually. The rest of the thing will come together. Just kind of crack everything together. Now there's a vitreous in the eye at our cataract age. There are probably quite a bit of posterior vitreous attachment. But nonetheless, there are certain places where it is still attached to the eye, and such as the pars ora serrata, sometimes behind the lens, the bigger space with a bit of attachment to the lens capsule. That's why sometimes when you're PCR, the vitreous tend to pull open the posterior capsular lens and a certain part of the retina as well. So, of course, over time, this will come detached peacefully, and then everything is fine. But sometimes it is not so. It can be very nasty. So when you have a posterior capsule compromise, I'm not going to go through this again because I think Dr. Ronyo and Prof. Chi have gone through all this. And one of the things is the pupil snap size, which I think is a very interesting observation by Dr. Ronyo many years ago. Now, if you have a PCR, I'm just going to focus more on unplanned vitrectomy, anterior vitrectomy, rather than planned vitrectomy, anterior vitrectomy, because I think at this level of basics, unplanned is probably the kind of anterior vitrectomy we're going to do. So we're going to stop phacoemulsification straight away, maintain irrigation, continuous irrigation, but usually at this time I like to lower the water height to about 40 to 60 cm water, basically to reduce turbulence. You want to fill the anterior chamber with ophthalmic OVD through the side port and push away any vitreous shunt as much as you can to avoid pulling on any vitreous. This is the time to take a deep breath, okay, calm yourself down, assess the situation again. You might want to adjust the fluidic. I will tell you a little bit more about the fluidic, and then slowly remove your handpiece. So if you have 60 cm of water and you remove your handpiece, the deflation is less, so the vitreous is less likely to come out. But if you put it at 90 or 110, when you come out, it's almost invariably it will leak, the anterior chamber collapse, the vitreous will kind of pop forward very fast. Alright, there are 3 different levels of vitreous retraction. One is with intact vitreous space. This is after PCR. This is good. If you have this, very lucky, but most of the time, by the time we recognize, it's usually second level, that is vitreous in the anterior chamber. This is still not too bad. The vitreous sometimes tend to open up the capsule a little bit, and finally, this is the worst one, where the vitreous is already going through the incision. If you recognize early, you're more towards the left-hand side. If you recognize it late, then it's more likely through the right-hand side. Position 2, if you see the level 2, be very careful when you remove your instrument. You don't want to induce the level 3 kind of vitreous disruption. When you have intact vitreous space, very simple. In that case, you just put viscoelastic and push back the burger space, expand the burger space, push back the vitreous space, so you can still almost continue with your normal phaco surgery. Now, to push this back, I usually like to use cohesive, but sometimes I'm too lazy, I will just use what I'm using. You need to expand the burger space and support the posterior capsule, alright? If not, when you go into the anterior chamber and you run on fluidic, the posterior capsule will just go backward and then you have a much bigger opening. In front of the capsular opening, I usually like to use a dispersive viscoelastic because that's the working space. And if I run IA or if the fluidics flowing through the dispersive will just disperse, you won't create so much of a problem. Cohesive, the whole thing will be removed and then you are back to square one. So this is another way to use dual vis OVD if you have the opportunity. This is the time to reassess the anesthesia if you're doing topical because the patient may start to feel a little bit of pain. You may want to supplement if you have anesthetist standby, good. If you're doing vitrovulvar or general anesthesia, there's nothing to worry about. You just have to inform the anesthetist that this is going to be a much longer surgery. Don't rush. Alright? Try not to give too much perivulvar or vitrovulvar at this point because you're going to take up some of the vitrovulvar space and then you're going to create increased vitreous pressure and the vitreous will come forward. Now, should we do coaxial or bimanual anterior vitrectomy? Okay, if we do coaxial, you are going to create a problem because you're going to create local fluid flow. Alright, you're going to create turbulence, you're going to push back the vitreous, suck the vitreous, push back the vitreous. You're not going to go very far. Alright, the best thing to do is actually to do bimanual. Try to split both infusion and cutter. The infusion you just put at the angle, while the cutter you can go behind the capsular end and start cutting. The advantage of this way is that the fluid flow into the anterior chamber push the vitreous pressure back, creating a pressure gradient, so the vitreous is less likely to come forward. Of course, if you want to do a posterior vitrectomy, as Prof. Chi has shown earlier on, that's fine too, but that involves cost. Now, there are two kinds of settings if you're doing anterior vitrectomy. One is ICA, infusion cut aspiration. That means the position 2 of the pedal, instead of for aspiration, it is for cutting. And position 3 is for aspiration. You use this with vitreous because you want to induce minimal traction on the vitreous. You want to cut first, then you suck, cut, and then you suck. So there's not so much traction on the vitreous. The other way is infusion aspiration cut. That is, you aspirate first, cut, and then aspirate, cut. That is when you want to do still have some nucleus to cut, or you want to remove the cortical matter, then you may do infusion aspiration cut. But most of the time you use infusion cut aspiration. That is position 1, position 2, and position 3. If you are using the Bausch and Lomb machine, they do not have ICA. They only have, their default is ICA. So if you want to infuse and aspirate, you have to turn off the cutter first, and hopefully you don't need the cutter. You can cut. You can set it such that the step to the right is turn off the cutter, so you just infuse aspirate, and whenever you need to cut, then you turn on the cutter again. But for the Alcon and Johnson & Johnson can cut with both infusion, cut, and aspiration, or ICA and IAC. The pointers here is make sure your wound doesn't leak, because if your wound leaks, the vitreous is more likely to come forward. If you move your cutter around, try to stay in position 2 in ICA mode, because the cutter is always cutting. That's the best, because you don't aspirate, you just cut. You're not going to pull on any of the vitreous. When in doubt, always use higher cutting weight, more than 800 cut per minute. Most of the new machine, the phaco machine now can cut very high, some even up to 2,000. Lower flow rate if you're on flow pump, if you're on a vacuum pump, then you set to lower vacuum. Alright, water height is from 40 to 60. We'll go into more of this. Now, when you do anterior vitrectomy, if you have laboratory kind of a vitreous product, I mean through the incision, you don't cut from the outside in. because you're just going to pull more vitreous out. You're going to induce a lot of traction on the retina. Alright, if the traction comes apart peacefully, you're fine. If not, you're going to create more problem. Alright, the best thing is if you're doing anterior vitrectomy, go straight to the posterior capsular rank behind it and start cutting. Okay? If you're doing pars plana, even better. You just go straight in and cut. You pull everything back. You calling all the vitreous home. Then after that, you cut backward and remove whatever in the vitreous in the anterior chambers. Much easier that way. Alright, you induce less traction on the vitreous. You're going to create less vitreous prolapse. Okay, now vitreous is almost invisible unless you do a full-blown posterior vitrectomy with the light pipe. Okay, it's very difficult to see vitreous. With the light pipe, it's a kind of virtual illumination. You can see the vitreous much better, but most of the time we may not open the light pipe. Then you have to depend on indirect clues such as pupil picking. Mirroring signs means when you touch something somewhere else, the pupil move, like the marionette. Or you find that you can't aspirate well. Today, whenever we have posterior capsular rank, we will use triamcinolone. You can use tri-essence from Alcon. It has no preservative. That's the controversy whether you can use preservative or you have to remove the preservative. If you use tri-essence, it's without preservative. You don't use it neat. You dilute it 5 times or even 10 times. When it's too concentrated, first you don't have much volume to play with because you're not going to do this once during the whole procedure. You will do it multiple times. Secondly, when it's too concentrated, everything becomes so white you can't see anything. You just need, I will show you later, a very diluted one because the vitreous will take it up and get stained very easily. The advantage of this is that it's also reduced post-op inflammation. Alright, this is just to show you the video. Now you have a PCR. We know there's a vitreous traction. Alright, we putting which we have reflux, push the vitreous back, use viscoelastic to push back the vitreous. This is 2 times of the back. This is triamcinolone, this is diluted. Still, we have to flush it after that. Alright? To have better visibility. Now, if there's vitreous, you can see strand light up by the triamcinolone. As you can see here, you do the vitrectomy behind the opening first. Then after that, you move forward. Whenever you're close to the iris, whenever you're close to the edge of the rank or the capsule, you have to increase your cut rate even further, maybe up to 2,000, at least 1,500 or 100 more, easily more than 800, the minimum. Because the higher you cut, the less likely you will pull the capsule, accidentally cutting the capsule or the iris. Now, the slower you cut, you find it very jerky on and off. The capsule might just come into the pot and you cut it. You will have to use lower vacuum as well, as whenever you're close to any tissue. If you're far away from tissue, of course you can use lower current, higher vacuum to speed up your surgery. Like I said, you start with ICA. At this point, my feet is always changing between ICA and IAC. Whenever I want to remove cortex, it's IAC. You go close to the cortex first before you step into position 2. This is a closed chamber. If there's no aspiration, there's no inflow. If there's no inflow, there's no turbulence. So you go close to the cortex, then only go to position 2 to aspirate. Therefore, you create minimal inflow. Because straight away you engage the cataracts, you can start pulling them away. Alright, rather than far away, you go to position 2 and then you go near, you've already started a lot of turbulence. On and off, the vitreous might come forward, then you change back to ICA and cut. Alright, sometimes you may have to use another port. As you can see, you have a switch hand, right side, left hand cutting, right hand cutting, just to have access 360 access. If you do it well, you find that the PC do not open much bigger. they may become flimsy. You can usually use viscoelastic to try to move them back. Alright, so we have to remove all the SLM, all the cortex, all the soft lens matter. Again, on and off, I will do staining just to make sure I don't see any. If there's any wick, I can pick it up and then put it, cut it off. For IOL, even though this IOL is, you can do it through docking, I prefer to go all the way in because I have better control. That's why I expand the wound from 2.2 to 2.4 mm, go all the way in, you inject, you have better control. How you want to unfold out. If you dock, you don't have much control. Oh, sorry. This is done. So for setting, then it depends on what you are doing. If you are doing unplanned, most of the time, as I say, I still do anterior vitrectomy because to open up a trocar, everything is 500 Singapore dollars more for the patient. If it's planned vitrectomy, then almost always I will do posterior using the posterior machine because they are far more efficient than any of the phaco machine doing vitrectomy. By the way, there are two to differentiate between limber-based and corneal-based vitrectomy cutter. The corneal-based or limber-based, is sharp-pointed. The pars plana vitrectomy tends to be round-headed. The reason is sharp for limber-based because you want to avoid decimate detachment. So the setting is if you are vitrectomy per se, preferably mode ICA, the border height can be as low as 40 if you are cutting. You don't want too much fluid, too much turbulence. You use a high cutting width. The closer you are to any soft tissue, the higher the cutting width, the lower the vacuum, the lower the flow rate. The further away, you can be a bit more aggressive to speed up time. But whenever you manipulate, alright, assuming that you already put in your infusion port, either posteriorly to the pars plana or at an angle, then you have to increase your border height to 60. Alright, the whole idea is to inflate the anterior chamber so that you have space to do your manipulation like IOL insertion or IOL stitching or whatever. Alright, there's no cut right here. But if you're using a posterior vitrectomy cutter, it's only ICA, there's no IAC. And if you're doing from pars plana, if you're doing vitrectomy per se, you can actually reduce the IOP to even lower, between 25 to 40. Okay, then if you're doing SLM, you can go to 40. But if you're putting in IOL, stitching IOL, again, you have to increase the infusion port, pars plana infusion port to 60. The posterior vitrectomy cut much faster, so they are very efficient and the vacuum rate is very high. In fact, you can use the posterior vitrectomy to actually hold on to a nuclear fragment and move it to the front because the vacuum today is so strong with the posterior vitrectomy. What about white cell vitrectomy? Sometimes we are very lazy. We do not want to open up anything. We just want to use a wax cell. We hope to get. But anyway, wax cell can be used as a final step if you don't use cannulum, right, to stain your vitreous. So if you have this situation, what do? This is not encouraged. I don't do wax cell. I prefer triamcinolone anterior vitrectomy. But if you have to, don't pull and cut because you're going to induce a lot of traction. I'm just going to teach you a little bit trick. When you have this, put your wax cell there. Don't move your wax cell. Use your Vanna scissors, indent on the incision, depress it a little bit so that you are cutting the vitreous further inside the IOL, inside the eyeball. When you release, the vitreous will fall back and then you have a strand. You don't pull on the vitreous because I do not move the wax cell as I cut. I just move, depress the wound incision a little bit with the Vanna scissors and cut it. But having said that, this is not a good method. So after that, at the end of the vitrectomy, make sure there's no more vitreous incarceration. One last look with triamcinolone if you are doing that. Minus the lip pupil a little bit, just to make sure there's no pupil picking, no Marinid sign. Also, you can look for any current if you're still removing the viscoelastic. I will use Vaxel to make sure there's no vitreous in the incision, because you just want to be very careful. If the vitreous at the incision and you leave it there, the incision almost never closes, and that is the path for bacteria to go into your eye. Alright? Make sure your incision is secure. It doesn't leak, because the vitreous can still come forward. You may want to step up your steroid, antibiotics, or NSAID regime. Post-operatively, just make sure there's no vitreous in the wound, preferably not in the anterior chamber. Sometimes they do sneak into the anterior chamber a little bit. Make sure the pupils are not distorted. Alright, make sure the ROP is fine, but do monitor the patient 6 months later if you are using triamcinolone, because they have been reported of delayed onset elevation of IOP as late as 6 months. Okay, do a fundoscopy, hope that the retina is in place. Now, of course, when you have a PCR, it is not the end of the world, no matter who say what. You just have to activate Plan B, remove all the prolapsing vitreous, and trust me, if you do a good one, especially if the PCR is rather limited, patient post-op actually see better, because there's no more cloudiness from the posterior. Thank you very much.